All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period from today, July 22nd, through Sunday, July 28th. And I am meteorologist Jimmy Danko. So first, looking at the upcoming weather pattern. So really, it's a pretty consistent pattern throughout the week of just very unsettled, very wet. We have a slow-moving cold front that's going to be sinking south towards our area, and that will combine with some upper disturbances and a very moist and somewhat unstable air mass to bring numerous showers and storms really each day from today through Friday. And then by the weekend, we finally start to trend drier, it looks like, especially by Sunday, as this cold front sinks south through the area and we start to get high pressure building in from the north. There still is some uncertainty on how dry we will get this weekend. The models have some differences on that, but it definitely, at the very least, looks like coverage of showers and storms will be on the decrease this weekend, especially by Sunday. And thus the flooding threat goes down. But until then, there is going to be, with all this rain that we're expecting through the work week, there is going to be a threat for heavy rain and flooding each day. Temperatures will be generally near to slightly below normal, with highs in the 80s for the most part every day, with all the clouds and precipitation around. That will help keep temperatures down really through the weekend. It will still be very humid, but at least the air temperatures will be kept down, which should at least prevent us from having dangerous heat or anything like that. So looking at the severe storm potential for the next week, today there is a marginal or level 1 of 5 risk for severe storms across basically roughly the eastern half of Central North Carolina, from around the Triangle and Fayetteville, Pinehurst, Sanford on eastward. The best chance is probably in the northern coastal plain. The main threat with these is damaging winds. Then for the rest of the week, we're just in general thunder right now on Tuesday and Wednesday. I would not be surprised to see them upgrade to a marginal again, like they did today. There's going to be at least a small chance for an isolated severe storm, but it's not looking like a widespread threat at this time. Looking at the severe threat today in a little more detail, you can see that, so basically this graph is a timing graphic showing when you can expect the worst or the best chance for severe storms, damaging winds being the main threat. That's this blue line here. And this is at Roanoke Rapids, and this is the probability of occurrence within 25 miles of Roanoke Rapids. So these graphics come right from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see that it's actually a pretty narrow window of time today that we're expecting a severe threat. So at least that's some good news. Generally, it looks like the greatest threat is from about 3 to 7 p.m. or 2:30 to 6:30 roughly. There is also a non-zero threat of a tornado, but it would be very isolated if it occurs, and it's low confidence that anything will occur at all as far as tornadoes, but it can't be entirely ruled out. I think the main threat, though, will be damaging straight line winds. And then looking at Raleigh, the timing looks similar, like roughly 3 to 7 p.m. is the best chance for anything severe. So now switching gears to look at the heavy rain threat, which will be the main threat over the next few days. So these are the expected precipitation amounts from the Weather Prediction Center. So you can see that today we're generally expecting around, on average, like a quarter inch to up to an inch, highest in the east and southeast. But locally higher amounts will certainly be possible where any storms occur, especially where they train over the same locations. And they're not going to probably be moving too quickly either. So that will add to the flooding concerns if storms just stay stationary over one spot, and urban areas in particular. Similar rainfall amounts are expected on Tuesday and Wednesday, around a ½ inch to an inch on average, but again, locally higher amounts possible. Thursday looks like maybe the heaviest rainfall day, with expected amounts of 1 to even up to 3 inches, highest across the south. And then starting to decrease again on Friday, but still a ½ inch to 1½ inches, highest southeast. So total amounts look really like they're maximized right over central North Carolina for the next 5 days, with forecast 5-day amounts of about 3 to 5 inches in most places, with maybe even locally higher amounts than that, it looks like. So definitely a very wet period coming up. And with that, the Weather Prediction Center has our area in an excessive rainfall risk every day this week. So Monday through Wednesday, today through Wednesday, there's a slight risk, which is level 2 of 4 for today across most of our area, and then level 1 of 4 risks after that. And slight risk means that there's at least a 15% chance of excessive rainfall leading to rapid flooding within 25 miles of a point. And marginal risk is at least 5% chance of that. Once we get to Thursday and Friday, you can see that we still have risk for excessive rain, and on Thursday we're back to a slight again, with across really our entire area, and then starting to decrease again to marginal on Friday. So one piece of good news is that we're not expecting any tropical cyclone activity during the next week. The tropics have really quieted down for the moment, so that's at least some good news. But we're still going to be in a wet pattern, of course, but at least we don't have to worry about anything tropical affecting us with more rain for the next week. And then one other piece of good news from all of this rain is that we are seeing at least some drought relief in some areas. So you can see that compared to so this is the drought monitor as of last week, Thursday. And compared to the previous week, you can see that there were some improvements across eastern North Carolina, with abnormally dry D0 conditions for most of eastern North Carolina, and some D1 and D2 as well. And then, but still really the West has been struggling to get much. The northern foothills in particular have been very dry, and getting into the Triad region. And there's even a very small area of extreme drought, D3, over basically the northern foothills, getting into far northwestern Forsyth County here. Now, with the rain that has occurred this week or this weekend, and then what's going to be happening this week, this will help significantly, and has already probably helped some, and will continue to help with these drought concerns. But still the damage may have already been done for some of these crops like like corn. And then looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, you can see that they're expecting generally increased chances of above normal temperatures across the area, and slightly increased chances of wetter than normal conditions as well. So this wet pattern may continue for the foreseeable future. So just to summarize, a slow-moving cold front will combine with a very moist and moderately unstable air mass to bring numerous showers and storms to central North Carolina each day from today through Friday. And that will result in a threat for excessive rain and flooding. Isolated to scattered flash flooding will be possible, especially over urban areas. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Stay tuned for any flood watches and warnings that are issued. And turn around, don't drown, is what we always say. And then there is still also a lesser threat for severe storms today, and really can't rule it out any day this week. Main threat will be damaging winds, but it will likely stay isolated. And then by this weekend, we start to trend drier, especially by Sunday. And temperatures should be kept near or slightly below normal, with highs in the 80s to maybe 90 at most through the weekend. Still very humid though. All right, that wraps up the weekly briefing. Does anyone have any questions?